Alright, I usually wouldn't post a video of this, but a lot of people have been asking. So I finally got my winch in for the RZR. So it's pretty easy to install. I use the, I don't know, whatever the eBay winch mount. Something, what's it called? K something fab, I don't know. Yeah, it mounts real easy. There's a little square back head bolt, so it goes there. You tighten that nut down. And the front, you can see where it mounts down there. That was really easy to do. And then I wanted a wide spool winch because a wide spool lets you run, see how wide that spool is? Lets you run 50 feet of 1/4 inch rope. You need the stuff on eBay, 1/4 inch rope with sheaths on both ends with a really nice hook and clasp for like 40 bucks. So that's really nice rope, 7,000 pound breaking strength. So I got the winch, peeled off the steel cable. To do that, you unwind it obviously. Take out the little Allen set screw holding it in there, and what you do to put your new stuff on is you get a screw that's the right thread, cut it to the right length, because this has an eyelet on the end of it, so you just bolt through that eyelet and bolt it onto the spool. In my other videos, sometimes I'll cut this eyelet off and feed the cable through the slot in the spool, which you can kind of see right there. You see there's two holes, so this hole right here goes all the way through the winch, so you can feed it through, loop it, and braid it back into itself, which is even stronger. But I'm feeling lazy, so I'm just going to bolt it on for now. If I end up pulling it out, I'll braid it through the spool. But that's the Super Winch 4000. Really big winch. I'm a little concerned that it might have some clearance issues with the arm right there, so I'm going to test that out. Definitely won't have any problems after I lift it, but it's a really long winch. I got it on Amazon for 120 bucks, and that's the cheapest wide spool you can get, and it's an old knockoff Warren design. So yeah, bolt the winch in, run the wires up to right here where I decided to bolt my solenoid. This isn't the finalized job, but it's basically how it's going to look. These two wires run to the battery. Pretty easy to route them. Just go down there through the tunnel. And then this is for your switch. You got your power for your switch and your accessory post, and then your two signal wires. You can see where I ran my switch cable, just up through here, and then I mounted it right here real clean, so I can use my left hand to winch while I'm steering my right hand. It doesn't get in any way, and it's facing down, so when you wash it and stuff, water won't get in here. These things aren't that waterproof, but that's the nice way to do it. You can see with the tunnel cover open, you can see where we routed the lines up through here to the battery. You just cut a little hole in this protector, stick it in there, and they both mount the same way. That's the winch one right there. Just goes under that nut. Pretty simple. Also, while you got this up, you might as well grease those splines right there right after your idler bearing, because not every day you get a chance to grease those, right? One problem I've had on the Polaris is that grease zerk and this grease zerk on this stem down here were both clogged from the factory, so I had to replace those grease zerks. Not a big deal. Took me a few minutes. Like I said, I usually wouldn't do a video like this. It's kind of straightforward, but someone's been asking on like all my videos when I'm going to do the winch install, so I figured I'd post a video for that guy. But yeah, pretty simple. If you're confused about the wiring, I'm not going to explain that. It comes with directions in the winch, and it takes a second or two to read it and figure it out. But basically, if your winch spins the wrong way, you just switch these wires, right? They're color-coded, but mine are actually switched. You could try to figure it all out, but I like to just wire it all up, and if it spins the wrong way, I switch it. Because I like my switch to where when I'm sitting in here, the button closest to me is in and the button farthest from me is out. So you can hear it running. Sounds good. Real easy to get to. And by wiring it into the accessory post, you make sure that when there's no key in your bike, no one can jump in there and accidentally, hit the winch on or something. So yeah, pretty nice, pretty straightforward. That's the winch install. The only reason I don't have the rope on yet is because I'm waiting for my Fairlead. The Fairlead mount with the KFI winch kit has you bolt up here, so it's actually it actually bolts to the outside of the upper control arm bolts, which I'm fine with because it stiffens up the front of the bike even more. So reinforcement. They say to pull this whole piece to install it. Don't do that. Just pull these 4 bolts. It gives you enough room to pull it forward. And you could get your impact in there with a swivel and zip off those 2 nuts in no time at all. And then when my Fairlead comes in, it'll be bolted up here. And yeah, nice aluminum Fairlead. And it's important to make sure you get the right width Fairlead. So I'm using a wide spool winch. and I'm not using a wide spool fairlead, which is good because it keeps the cable from bunching up on the sides of the spool. And that spool is so big that 50 feet a quarter inch is not going to even anywhere near fill it up. So it'll be really user friendly. It won't be getting bird nested. I don't have to worry about it. Pretty much just, you know, hit the button and pull it out. So and you want to mount your fairlead as far forward from your winch as possible. So when I bought this winch plate, it wasn't made for a wide spool winch, so I had to drill 4 holes in it wider than the bolt pattern it came with. And I also mounted it about as far back as you can get it. See, there isn't a whole lot of room behind the winch. You want your winch as far from the fairlead as possible, just because it gives it, you know, a better chance of spooling up nice and straight. It's also important to make sure that once you get it all said and done, that there's nothing your rope can drag on, no hard edges. Definitely gonna have to check that here, because this doesn't seem to line up perfect right now. If you look through there, you know, it's definitely towards the bottom. But I suspect Polaris, you know, obviously made this for a winch mount, so should work out fine. If it doesn't, I'll end up using a different roller fairlead mount. But yep, that's the winch.